Welcome, residents, to another edition of Talk of the Town with Dick Thurston, your supervisor. And today, I'm really honored to have a very distinguished guest, in my mind, our former supervisor, Barbara Gutzler. And since this is, yesterday was International Women's Day, and this is Women's History Month and recognition. Barbara is a very amazing history in leadership in various roles throughout the career: commercial, non-commercial, government, education. And so I thought we'd just chat briefly, and at the end of our discussion I have a few announcements to make. So welcome, Barbara, and thank you for your service in the past and in the future. And maybe for viewers that have moved in the area, just mention a little bit about your background, legislature, and town government.
Okay. Well, first off, I do want to thank you, Supervisor Thurston, for asking me to come in. It's quite a coincidence. I happened to be in town hall on some business, and we ran into each other, and you invited me in, so thank you very much. For anybody who's new, who may not know who I am, my name is Barb Gutzler. I served as town supervisor from 2011 through 2015. Prior to that, I served in the Dutchess County Legislature for 10 years in the 1990s. And in between, I was able to work as a special education teacher, both middle and high school levels. And this month of Women's History, since you brought it up, was always very exciting for me as a teacher, because it follows Black History Month.
Yes.
And for 2 months with my students, we would study the plays of Lorraine Hansberry.
Outstanding.
One of the fine women writers who died too young, unfortunately.
Yes.
We would read A Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, wow.
We would watch the film, the original film, criticize it, critique it, understand it, and then understand more about a woman's role in literature. And it was a great opportunity to do that and to celebrate the various cultures, and that encouraged the students to go out and read more about women in history.
Well, and what you had done, I think even before you, Joe Ruggiero, I've certainly tried to focus on diversity in the government and getting creating more opportunities for women and many others that are at a disadvantage still, I think, within the system. But also, while you were supervisor, you're also the president of the Dutchess County Supervisors Mayors Association, which, what is that? I think we have about 27 communities that participate, mayors, supervisors.
We have 20 towns, 2 cities, and 8 villages.
8 villages, that's right. Yeah.
So, and most of them 30. Do participate, and that was an honor. Really, I followed Lizette Hitzman, who at that time was the supervisor of the town of Unionvale. And it was an honor to follow Lizette and really to bring a different perspective to things there. And some people will say this isn't so, but really the perspective that women can bring to government, to business, is something that's unique. We tend, I think, to be more analytical with things, look at more details, and that probably has to do with the fact that we've had to work very hard in school, in education, to excel.
Yeah,
and
agree.
Back in the days when you and I were in school, women were pretty much directed to be nurses or school teachers.
Well, and
now we can do what we want, and that is amazing.
Yeah. And I remember when I was going to high school back in the 60s, they had home economics, and they had shop class. Only the boys, young people, men, were allowed to work in the shop class, and the female part of our high school was only in home economics. And I always said to myself, well, isn't that really strange? It's odd. And I've, of course, as you all know, spent a lot of my career in Asia, where there is a lot of male orientation, but truth of the matter is, the societies are truly run and operated, and we've had, I think, in our town, probably in recent years, since Connie Smith, more female, supervisors than male, quite honestly. What was your greatest reward in being the supervisor of the town?
Oh gosh, there were so many rewards. Probably the thing that I remember most, and this may seem trivial to some people, just when people would come in, knock on the door,
Right.
and just say, "Can I talk to you for a minute?"
Yes.
And they'd either thank me for something or ask me for their help. And when I could do something for the
Right.
people, that was the greatest reward. And to me, that's what being a town supervisor is about.
Exactly.
How do you best serve the people? It's
Right.
unfortunate sometimes that politics gets in the
Right.
way of government, and that is that
Well,
unfortunately that's more.
It's being there for
prevalent.
our residents, and it's
Right.
not about the photo op.
Exactly.
Correct? Not about the photo op.
Exactly. No, you want to be there because these are our neighbors. These are our friends. There were people who walked in whose children I had in school or their
Yeah.
grandchildren I had in school. My next door neighbors, the people who I see in the supermarket. And they would say to me, I have an issue here with sewer, with water. I'm having a hard time meeting taxes.
Right.
Is there some way you could possibly help me?
Exactly.
And we'd sit down and we would
Exactly.
talk. Just welcoming people into the chairs
Right.
to sit down and
Yeah.
talk like friends. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, exactly. And,
Yeah.
and, I think that when we look at what we can do to the community and help, that's why I'm here. I have no pretensions to go higher or anything. It's to help the
Neither do I.
community. But, when we look at helping the residents, there's a lot of folks that don't know where to turn and they help. So when you were a supervisor, what did you do to really help the people to go to the next level of the issue? Because you dealt a lot with the county, as
Yep.
do I,
Yep.
and being in the legislature, what was one of the big challenges that our residents had in dealing at the county level?
The biggest challenge for anybody, whether they're resident, even working in government, is just dealing with a lot of the red tape. Because, as you know, New York State is so full of rules and regulations, it's hard to navigate it. If we could make that job a little easier, and what I really have to give Dutchess County credit for, among many things, our now Congressman Molinaro, is increasing things like veteran services.
Absolutely.
People wouldn't know where to go.
Right.
And you would just, if they had issues with benefits or something
Right.
like that, we could direct them to the Office of Veterans Affairs.
Exactly.
There. And now I know the towns, the local assembly offices have similar
Yeah.
liaisons. And it's absolutely wonderful to be able to say, I think I can help you out. Let me direct you over here.
Exactly.
And you help them navigate through that red tape to cut through some of the layers.
Right.
That's our job. You want to stop people from being discouraged.
Right.
And I think being discouraged and feeling hopeless is the worst feeling that anybody could have, especially seniors who have paid taxes for years, they've raised their children here, veterans who have served our country.
Yeah. Since, we're recognizing the outstanding accomplishments this month of women, and yesterday internationally recognition, we have a lot of young families, young ladies out there, certainly in our high schools and so forth. I just came from Rotary, where our Interact Club recognizes a lot of young scholars and really strong participation by all sorts of folks. What would you say to the young woman that has seen a lot of the barriers, but in participating in local government in the future? What would be some words of advice that you would give them, Barb?
Persist. Be persistent. What did we hear a few years ago in Washington? Nevertheless, she persisted. And even though that might have been said about somebody with whom I have political disagreements, the bottom line here is young women need to be prepared, to be learned, to understand what government is about, to understand issues, finances, a lot of different things. But most importantly, be persistent. Don't be discouraged.
Right. Exactly.
Don't give up.
Right.
Don't give up. Don't ever stop trying. I think I'm quoting Coach Jim Valvano.
Oh, yes.
When he said that, don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying.
Right.
Make your opinions
absolutely.
known.
Yeah.
Show that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, and that you're more than a photo op. You know, anybody can look like an 8x10 glossy,
Yes.
as is one of my favorite expressions here.
Exactly.
They can all dress well to look like they're available at fine stores everywhere, but the proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, thank you. I know one of the number of areas that the town's benefited from, but certainly, one that you were very instrumental in negotiating is bringing water.
Oh, yeah.
To the town from the aqueduct that's going under the river. And I will just end on that. Maybe, because you were involved. Of course, our lawyers, our engineers were all involved. I came in, and, when I came in, we were able to start installing and bringing water to tall trees and to Chelsea.
A woman led the way.
But a woman led the way, right? And I think that also your successor, my immediate predecessor, Lori Java, helped a lot, in doing that. And in fact, one of the negotiators, I think, for New York City DEP was female, right? And so why don't you, just leave with a couple of comments on that, because it's a great lesson, but it's a great, example of what you can do.
Absolutely. The commissioner of New York City DEP at the time was Emily Lloyd.
Yeah.
And Emily was a straight shooter, and you could see how people respected her, and she showed respect to people. But what I said before about being prepared, knowing what you're talking about, that's what Emily expected. She didn't want smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
She wanted facts. She wanted you to lay your cards out and say, this is what I need. How can we make this work for the two of us?
And it wasn't a given. You're competing with other municipalities for this opportunity.
Absolutely. I had people from other towns come in here and say, how did you manage to do that? Well, the important thing is, we had a good team put together.
Yep.
And Emily Lloyd and I think developed a trust, a bond there.
Exactly.
And when she came up here to the aqueduct, the construction site down in Chelsea, and we had the big blast there, she spoke very highly of the town and how impressed she was with the people that she met and how we conducted business here. And I invited Emily to come up anytime and learn about Wappinger, learn about our cultural diversity here. And we have a wealth of cultures in here that we celebrate in Wappinger.
That's right.
Learn a lot about it. Please come, make the town of Wappinger your friend.
Yeah.
And
well,
I
thank you so very much. And our previous supervisors all helped. Some difficult times financially. I know you. We're coming out of a period, and Mr. Colsey before that, of some significant hardship financially. You brought the town around, and we've benefited from that by being able to even take it to the next level. But thank you, for dropping by. As Barb said, all residents are more than welcome to drop by this office, which once was Barbara's office, and to chat and to share things. And if you'd like to get on camera, we're more than happy to do that. So. Well, before I end, I just want to mention that we have a couple events coming up, and one is the Town of Wappinger's annual Easter egg hunt. That's going to be on Saturday, April the 1st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Martz Field. I know you used to, I don't think you ever dressed up as the bunny, but we had other
No, at Halloween
people.
I dressed up as Carmen Miranda, and that was the best I did.
So no pre-registration. Come at 1 o'clock. That's for check-in. We have a snack shop, games, crafts, and then we have age categories for our young folks, all the way up to 13 years old, for the kids for Easter egg. Our summer camp registration, talking about youth, is now open for registration for our residents only. Once we see how many slots we still have, we open it up, to the village and non-residents. But now it's open, and registration for non-residents will open on April the 17th. Also, Joe Ennisser, who was just amazing person, dedicated so much of his life to our community. We're having our annual 5K run walk on April 15th. That goes to benefit our veterans, as you said. I think we started that. The Veterans Advisory Group, is leading that in partnership with our town. And check-ins at 7 a.m. on the 15th. It's rain or shine, just like the wonderful parade was the other day. Our Spring Crafts Fair is returning. It's going to be held on Saturday, April the 29th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Town Hall. And our seniors, we are visiting with them always, and we have a lot of other activities. So please look at our website, come here to Town Hall. We ran, what I read from is from the Southern Dutchess News. So thank you again, Barb.
Thank you, and for having me here. And most importantly, Supervisor Thurston, I want to thank you for taking the reins, leading the town, and continuing in the tradition of good supervisors who have put the town first.
Thank you.
And its residents. And I, now as a private citizen and taxpayer, thank you sincerely.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And everyone, we hope that you have a wonderful weekend coming up and a remainder of the month of March, Women's History Month. And so until soon, please stay safe and remain well. Thank you.